In this video, we'll be working on the design of horizontal alignments with Civil 3D. The first step is to draw our tangents. To do this, we would need to use the alignment button, which is a member of the Create Design collection on your Home tab in Civil 3D. Now, when we click on the alignment button, we'll have the alignment creation tools, which we will be using for the design. Clicking on that reveals a dialog box which allows you name and give a description to your alignment. It's called the Create Alignment dialog box. Here, I'll name my alignment HA, which stands for horizontal alignment. And for a description, I would say once I'm done, I can click on OK. And this reveals the toolbox called Alignment Layout Tools, which I'll be designing my alignment with. Now, we'll be using two buttons here specifically. The first is the Draw Tangent button, which allows us to draw our tangents, and the other is the Add Fixed Curve button, which allows us to introduce curves. When we click on the Draw Tangent button, we're going to be using the first option of three. This one is called Tangent with no curves. Now this button allows me, or this command allows me to draw my tangents. I would also advise that you turn off the snap buttons down here just to prevent your cursor from snapping or your alignment from snapping to the contour lines within your surface. Now I'll start my alignment at this point. Notice that I have not broken my command as yet. Now, it is important for there to be continuity throughout your alignment. And so until you are satisfied with the alignment you have drawn, I wouldn't advise you to break it. Now that I'm satisfied with what I have, I would simply type Enter or Escape to end this command. Immediately I do that, notice how Civil 3D now indicates or creates markers along my alignment. We will start at the beginning of the project, the point known as BP, where the station is 0 plus 0, 0, 0. Take note that other stations now along the project are at an offset of 20 meters. You can change this to any value that is suitable for your design. However, for this tutorial, 20 meters is sufficient. The next point of interest for us is the PI. The PI is the point where two tangents intersect. So it is known as the point of intersection. And this occurs in this project at station 0 plus 498. We do have another PI here at station 1 plus 480. And ultimately, our project comes to an end at station 1 plus 940. That point is known as the EP, or the end of project. So our alignment has three tangents and two curves. The curves are going to be introduced at the points of intersection between the tangents, and that would allow for a smooth transition between our tangents. The next step to take is simply to introduce our curves. So we will be clicking on the Add Fixed Curve button, and that would reveal different options of curves we would use. However, we would be using the free curve fillet between two entities and the radius. Once we click on that, notice again that your command prompt changes and requests for the first entity. The entities in this case would be referring to the tangents. So I'll click on the first tangent as my first entity, and notice that it is highlighted before I click. So this prevents me from just clicking on a station marker or something. When I click on that, Civil 3D on the command prompt would request for the next entity, and I'll do that. Then it says, is curve solution angle less than 180? Yes, that is fine. And so I'll type enter. Now the next prompt is for me to specify the radius of my curve. And here I would use 300. Now I'm using 300 as a random figure, but for your design project, it will be important to note that you should follow the instructions in the brief, as well as the values for the radius specified in your design handbooks. Now, those values in the handbooks have been specified based on the speeds you are designing for. So what's your design speed? That would guarantee or determine what your curve radius should be. And so for your project, please don't just use random figures. Now we have completed the alignment of the first, or the introduction of the first curve on this alignment. We would go to the second. We would go over that same procedure again. Civil 3D asks for the first entity, and I'll click on that, and the second, and that is the second tangent. Then the solution angle less than 180 is fine again, and then I'm required to provide a radius for my curve. In this case, I would use 350. And there you have it. Second radius is introduced, and our horizontal alignment is now complete. Civil 3D would keep asking for the next entity so long as the command is not terminated, and so long as there are more radiuses, or sorry, more curves to be introduced in your alignment. So now that we have come to the end of this, we would type enter. And here you have it. We have two curves on our alignment, and it has three segments or three tangents. For the curves we have introduced, notice how Civil 3D changes the markers around the curve. Prior to this time, we had a point of intersection on our tangent, but at this point, we are now talking about the point of curvature, the midpoint, and the point of tangent of our circular curve. Now, these 3 points are noteworthy when you are designing alignments. Your point of curvature occurs at station 0 plus 380. The midpoint of the curve occurs at station 0 plus 493, and your point of tangent is occurring at station 0 plus 606. Looking at the second curve, there is as well a point of curvature, a midpoint, and a point of tangent. And so these are the elements that show you have successfully completed your horizontal design. This is the end of this video. In the next video, we'll be looking at vertical alignments. Thank you very much.